Yesterday I recorded a message and mostly reflecting on the anniversary of the death of George Floyd. And everything I said in that still holds. And I woke up this morning and went running. And sometimes when I get out there running, I get clear. So, yeah, today I felt like, okay, I'm really training for a marathon. I did my 4 miles. But anyway, while I was out running, I passed, going in the opposite direction, a guy who was carrying an American flag on this Memorial Day. And it got me thinking a lot about how today is more than a day off. It is that, obviously. We are in a beautiful place, visiting with some friends, having a great time, really glad to see them, glad to be in Maine, really, really, really thankful that the sun is out and the birds are in full chorus. I'm listening to them and feeling really thankful and grateful for all of the love and all of the privilege that I have in my life. And today is a day to remember. A day to remember people who made sacrifice, and especially people who made the ultimate sacrifice for us, to create a better world for us, to move us closer to the ideal that we've written about, that was written about in our Constitution, to give us more freedom, to give us the opportunity to create the world that we are called to bring into existence. All of those things are things we remember on this day. And so I remember George Floyd, but I also remember Martin Luther King. I remember my grandfather and my uncle who served in the military. I remember Rosa Parks and Harriet Tubman. I remember all the people whose belief in the world that could be was bigger in their eyes than even their own personal safety or comfort. People who were willing to lean all the way in. And yesterday we had church service and we were talking about the work of justice. We were reflecting on where we've come as a community since 5 years ago, when we were thinking about and talking about who we needed to be in light of George Floyd's killing. And I remember the commitments we made to each other to be the kind of radical community that we believe our country needs, the kind of multiracial and multi-class and intergenerational and queer-affirming community that gives a new vision of what is possible. And so this morning while I was running, I ran across, like on the path, there was this like almost box. I think it was a bird feeder. And it was painted red, white, and blue, and it said, "Unite." And it was in this beautiful place, like people were out running, walking with their dogs. And it really made me think about the fact that it's going to take a lot, a lot, to build the world that I hope for, to build the kind of world where we no longer have the killings of black men like George Floyd, to build the kind of world that is overflowing with the kind of justice that Dr. King imagined, to build the world that I hope for, that I dream of, and that I say that I want. And some of our reflection yesterday in church was we were talking about how in this season, like Eastertide, we really reflect on okay, Jesus goes and gives his ultimate sacrifice, and his disciples, they were not ready. I mean, they had been with him all this time, but they were like, whoa, what just happened? And I think there's a lot of us who say we really want a different world, and I'm just not sure that we're willing and ready to lean in at the scale that we need to. If we are really going to end white supremacy, if we are going to build a just and equitable world, it's not going to come easily. And so on this Memorial Day, I think part of what I'm reflecting on is the fact that we need to be willing to go on, and that we cannot be afraid of making the ultimate sacrifice, because that's how a better world is achieved. So as I think about George Floyd, about what he went through, about the work that we did afterwards, and I'm thankful for the things we achieved in terms of police reform and new people that joined into movements and all of the different things, because I don't want to say nothing good came, but I am reflecting that I think I underestimate the level of sacrifice that is required to get to the world that I dream of. And so I think of people like George Floyd and Dr. King and Malcolm X and Jesus, and I'm going, wait a second. I think on this day, the best thing I can do is not just remember their sacrifice, but recognize that their sacrifice also calls me to greater sacrifice. And so I'm hoping not just that you watch this, because I'm really not trying to create some Substack following. That's not why I do this. It's because I think there are other people like me looking at this moment, hoping, praying, wanting, yearning for something better to emerge out of this moment. And I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I think there's a heck of a lot of work that has to go in. I mean, I'm trying to undo white supremacy and imagine a very different way for humans to live with each other. Tall order, not one that's going to be achieved easily. But on this Memorial Day, 5 years from the reckoning around the death of George Floyd, I'm trying to commit to lean in, to recognize that deeper and greater sacrifice is required. Focus, attention, stretching myself, being willing to be uncomfortable and to go places I don't want to go, and listen to and align with people wouldn't be my first choice. And to go up against structures and systems that could kill me. I think that's what's required. And so as I remember Harriet Tubman and Ella Baker and Dr. King and many, many, many others, Grace Lee Boggs, many people who have dreamed of a different world and put their all into creating it. On this Memorial Day, I say thank you. And my thank you is not just an empty waving of a flag, but a sincere commitment to go deeper. And I hope that through this medium and others, I can just keep connecting with other people who want to do the same, whose hearts tell them that it is really time for a revolution of love. So, we remember your sacrifice and honor it by being willing to sacrifice too. Rest in power.